Are you saying that all of the elected officials wanted you to approach the board, or are you saying that all of the elected officials wanted you to threaten to sue the board?
Both.
Okay, what I hear you saying
And there's
is...
a difference between threaten to sue. There's the possibility of litigation which that could arise out of, which is what was brought to the board. And yes, that's my understanding of all the elected officials.
That all of the elected officials were supporting you in...
No, they weren't supporting me. It's not an issue of supporting me. I'm not the one who brought this issue up. I'm the one who presented it. I'm the messenger.
Okay, we're supporting your presentation. All of the elected officials wanted you to tell the board that you were going to sue them. You, not meaning you personally, you, the group of elected officials, were going to sue them. You then advising the board that there was a huge possibility of you winning. All of the elected officials were behind you, supporting you, presenting it to the board as a potential lawsuit.
Your question assumes many facts that don't exist, so it's difficult to answer, but I will answer it this way.
I want you to name me one fact that I am representing that is hard to...
Several.
Okay, go ahead.
The elected officials were advised that the board had passed had set a recommendation for our salaries based upon an equity argument, not based on relevant financial data and not based on the data that they used before. There was a meeting of the elected officials. Sheriff Robinson was not at that meeting. We talked after the meeting. All other elected officials, to the best of my knowledge, everyone was present. And the discussion was had as to if they wanted to accept it or if they wanted to address the board about it. And there was unanimous that they wanted to address the board about it, and the question was posed, would you be willing to litigate if that was necessary in order to address this issue? Those issues were unanimous. So no one came to the board and said, we're suing you right now. The board was advised by the county attorney's office that there's a possibility of litigation
And it had
over
to be
this
a
issue.
real and imminent possibility, otherwise the executive session would not have met.
Well, anytime there's a threat of litigation, it can be real and imminent when it is talked about. So it certainly doesn't mean that it's on paper.
It's not true.
You can use your attorneys to define it. This is how we've defined it. So that is what was brought to the board's attention.
Well, that there was a real and imminent threat coming from all of, you're still not answering my question.
Yes, I am answering your
all
question.
of the executive
As
elected
county
officials.
board chair,
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt here. There's one thing I want to make clear, and then you two can go right back to your discussion and question. Something that's been bothering me. It's been said, all elected officials.
Right.
The Washington County Board of Supervisors are elected officials.
That's true.
The Washington County Board of
Okay.
the Washington County Board of Supervisors
Right.
were never part of this.
I totally understand that.
Well, I want
That's
the
true.
record to show that.
Right.
That's
I want
true.
the record to show that.
I'm using that term to differentiate between the unelected appointed officials
I
and
understand,
the
but
ones
the
that
record has to be
Okay,
clear.
that's good.
That should have been clarified. I agree with that. Office holders outside the board of
And we're not
supervisors.
done with what's up. Go ahead.
No, I feel like you answered my question. It is your claim that 100% of all of the elected officials, excluding the Board of Supervisors, were supporting the threat of litigating against the board.
The possibility that litigation would be necessary to resolve it, yes.
They were supporting the litigation, that tactic, in order to approach the board with this.
Well, I wouldn't call it a tactic. It certainly was. Well, it's not.
It certainly is.
It wasn't a tactic.
Do you want to
I
look
won't
up the word
debate that.
tactic in the dictionary?
No,
It certainly was.
there's no point to debate it, but in any event, the board has spoken several times on the issue. I don't have anything further to add to